You know, they talk about the ghosts of the forum, right? My goodness, dude, you can add on the ghosts of Marc Bergevin, the ghosts of Kent Hughes, the ghost of whomever it is the Montreal Canadiens have had as their GM or any executive or any coaching staff member or otherwise. Because the Montreal Canadiens franchise is cursed. We had ourselves the updates earlier today from the Habs Twitter account after their defeat at the hands of the St. Louis Blues that Rafael Harvey-Pinard will miss 4 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury, Jordan Harris is day-to-day with an upper body injury, and Kaiden Guhle is still being evaluated. And this, of course, comes in the aftermath of all the shenanigans we had seen against the St. Louis Blues earlier this morning. And for some reason, I have this feeling that somebody in the Canadiens organization, whether it's somebody of the Canadiens right now or somebody in the past, somebody must have made a deal with the devil via an Ouija board or whatever, because this is so stupid. How are there so many gosh darn injuries that happen to Canadiens guys time in and time out, and multiple times they happen in the same game? So let's just go over each of these three guys, talk about what happened to put them in this position in the first place, starting out with Rafael Harvey-Pinard. We talked about him yesterday, but because of the awkward collision he had when skating into Yoel Armia, he ended up leaving the ice with help. He was kind of limping a little bit. You could realize that there was something wrong with the guy's mobility from the way he was able to stand up and needed to get assistance. So we were all kind of thinking, it's got to be something with the knee. Like, he's already been slowed down by injuries. This is the last thing that he needs. But the damage that we had seen during the collision with Armia was not to be ignored. You can't go out there and discredit that. So 4 to 6 weeks, honestly, I'm kind of surprised as to how that's the outcome here. A reply from Guhle Season goes out there and says that Rafael Harvey-Pinard only missing 4 to 6 weeks and likely avoiding surgery is great news. Glad to see no breaks. Then they go out there and talk about the other two guys. Let's go out there and do that ourselves. So for Jordan Harris, it's interesting because he is day-to-day. When you think about what it was that actually took him out of game action tonight earlier in the first place. This is a picture of what happened. He was kind of falling down already on the boards, but whilst he was in the process of falling down, he had the St. Louis Blues player go out there and kind of hit him too. And just the point of impact, it looks like it could have been on the head. It looks like it could have been maybe on the arm a little bit too. This situation would not have been as bad as it was if Harris wasn't already falling down from 1 second earlier in the clip. So it is one of these freak accidents that just happens to happen sometimes. And he ended up leaving the game against St. Louis because of it. So that certainly is not ideal. It is interesting to see it day-to-day because based off of the action of him leaving, based off of how it looked, I think there was a sentiment going amongst the fan base that said, hey, if he's going to be out for a while, that's not too surprising, just considering, the physicality of the situation. So to see it's only day-to-day, I guess that's fine. Good to see. Hopefully he'll be able to come back soon. And then you had Kaiden Guhle as well, who got hit with like 2 minutes left in the third period. It was a really weird one that doesn't look too bad until you zoom in and try to put yourself in the position of what happened, because Guhle is going into the corner, going towards those RBC boards, chasing after the puck, and it's Marco Scandella who kind of rubs up against Guhle while they're going into the boards, and they don't leave contact. Guhle's a tough kid. He's not going to back down if a guy is challenging him physically, and they both kind of go into the boards, but Guhle gets the brunt end of it. Scandella just kind of pushes him into it, and he presses him into the boards at the same time, and Guhle immediately after is laying out there on the ice. He doesn't really move for a bit. It takes him a while to get up, and that is with 1:40 to go in the third period of a 7-2 hockey game. So not an ideal situation. You don't want to see something like that go down, especially in that stage of the game, Like 5 minutes left, 3 minutes left, it's a 5-2, 6-2, 7-2 game. That's garbage time. Nobody cares. Sure, you can score some goals, and the Blues actually ended up doing that, but still, these types of physical plays, especially the repercussions of that, that's not what you want to see. And I get it, it's a hockey play, you're challenging a guy going into the boards, you don't want to back down, you want to stand your ground, right, as they say, but I don't know, just Scandella pressing up against Guhle. There's no real escape route for Guhle in this situation, and he ends up getting pressed into the boards because of it. So he is still getting evaluated. That does not mean he's guaranteed to being out for an extended amount of time. Who knows if there's like a similar conclusion to the Jordan Harris thing. they did have some extra time to catch up and do their tests on Harris, because Harris and the hit that happened that took him out was a lot earlier into the game. The Kaiden Guhle thing happened near the very end, so you can understand why there's still a little bit more evaluating to be done there. But hey, I will say, if any of y'all were pissed off that the Montreal Canadiens ended up scratching Arber Xhekaj earlier today, he's probably going to get some playing time over the next little while here, because, hey, he may have no choice. I personally was one of those people that was pretty pissed off, because as I had talked about in the video earlier today, I was actually losing my fantasy matchup. It was really bad. I was down the entire week, and I had an opportunity to really take a stronghold with this day on Sunday, because it was the last day of the week. I had a bunch of players playing, Canucks, Canadiens, etc., and I had a few extra ads, so I swapped out some guys, added on Arber Xhekaj and Noah Juulsen to round out my Sunday. I ended up winning my matchup because everybody that I had went off. Dakota Joshua, Pedersen, Miller, Hughes all got points or hits and blocks and everything. Noah Juulsen was a beast. Mike Matheson and David Savard were beasts, but my Arber Xhekaj did not end up playing. He got scratched right before the game, so I was pretty pissed off about that. No biggie, though. Even if he didn't end up playing, I still won my matchup. Was number 1 in the league this week, too, after being second fiddle for most of the past few days. So, big comeback for me. I'm pretty happy about it, but for Arber Xhekaj, this has been too inconsistent for him, not getting into the lineup and everything. So with this departure with Jordan Harris potentially for a while, maybe Kaiden Guhle is out too, then hey, this is Montreal hockey getting forced to address their defense situation, filtering out who's really necessary, who's capable of playing, who needs to be here, and who's expendable, because that's been one of the bigger issues the Canadiens have had the past few weeks, that, hey, they have so many defensemen, both in the Laval Rocket and in the Montreal system, so now you're going to have some extended tryouts. That's what a potential Guhle and Jordan Harris departure will bring to this organization. As for Rafael Harvey-Pinard, we'll probably be seeing more of Josh Waugh as the year goes on, and I'm honestly okay with that. Like, as we had said in the last video, having Josh Waugh and Brandon Gignac playing together, just having the Laval Rocket connection establish itself at the top level, that's pretty funny, but of course, for Josh Waugh, he's earned everything he has gotten. He is in this position for a reason, because he's grown so much ever since being a 5th-round pick by the Canadiens a few years ago. So for Josh Waugh, this is an opportunity for him, almost in the same way as Rafael Harvey-Pinard had his opportunity last year, and he made the best of it, scoring all those gosh darn goals at a 30-goal pace for the entire year. So, for Harvey-Pinard this season, of course, it's unfortunate, but he still is a very valued member of the team. Same could be said about the other two guys that have been evaluated for injuries and talked about as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Canadiens needing to force themselves to play other D-men? What are your thoughts on Xhekaj probably finding himself back into the lineup? Marty St. Louis, you've got no reason to start scratching this guy again, dude. You need D-men. And Arber Xhekaj is a good one, so we'll see how exactly that goes down. Thoughts in the comments, how it's going to work out. Also, thoughts on Josh Waugh, Rafael Harvey-Pinard's injury, and everything else. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.